Simplifying radicals with variables. It's easy when the variable has a square exponent. A square exponent for a variable is like a square number. And when it's an odd, it's an irrational, just like in the last section of simplifying square numbers. So when you have a variable like x squared and it's an even number, square root of x squared is just x to the first. You just take your exponent and divide by 2. Square root of x to the 10th is x to the 5th. Square root of x to the 16th is x to the 8th. We just divide our exponents by 2. But when our exponents are odd, it's not so simple. We're actually simplifying a radical in that case, where our answer will have a radical left in it, like x to the 3rd. But what you could do is, like reducing numbers in radicals that aren't square, like radical 20, we split it up into 2 radicals. Radical x to the 3rd, you're going to split it up into 2 radicals and only leave 1 in the radical to the right. And that'll leave x squared in the radical to the left, which we know is just x. So our answer is x radical x. For x to the 7th, split it up into 2. Leave 1 inside. And that means 6 is on the other side. And that becomes x to the 3rd rad x. X to the 15th. Leave 1 inside, and so you have x to the 14th in the radical to the left. And that gets cut in half to x to the 7th radical x. Basically, if your exponent has an odd, if your variable has an odd exponent, you're going to be left with 1 inside the radical and half of 1 less than that outside the radical. So for 15 is 1 left inside, half of 1 less. 1 less is 14, and half that is 7. So x to the 7th radical x. Here we're just combining a couple of variables in one shot. Rad x to the 8th, y to the 13th. The x to the 8th is even, so we're just going to take out x to the 4th. The 13th is odd, so I need to take half of 1 less than that. 1 less than 13 is 12. Half that is 6, and 1y stays inside. X to the 3rd is odd. Half that. 1 less than that is 2. Half that's 1, and 1's going to be left inside. For y, subtract by 1, I get 8. Half that is 4, and 1 gets left inside. Here I'm kind of combining the numbers and variables together. For the 12, we can reduce that with a rad 4, rad 3. That'll become a 2 times a 3 in the front. We get a 6 in the front, and a 6 in the front, and a 3 in the radical. For x to the 10th, it's even, so the whole thing, x to the 5th, comes outside, and there's no x's left inside. Y to the 17th is odd, so 1's going to be left inside. 1 less than 17 is 16. Half that is 8. And so that is the final answer.